The June 2026 update for Power BI is here with a strong focus on AI-driven development, reporting flexibility, and improvements to modeling and collaboration. Before we get into all of the great Microsoft Power BI updates, I want to remind you of the Microsoft Fabric and SQL Community Conference going on in Barcelona in September 2026. Scan that QR code on the screen to learn more and register. It's a great opportunity to learn new things, connect with the community, and soak in all of that Fabric, Power BI, and SQL knowledge. Register with the code FABCMTY200 or SQLCMTY200 and save €200. We hope to see you there. Now, let's pivot to the June 2026 updates for Power BI. For all of the information, you'll see another QR code on that screen. Scan that to jump straight to the June 2026 Power BI update blog, which has all of the information inside of it and links to documentation. Also, there is a link to the blog for all of the announcements coming outside of Microsoft Build for the Fabric and databases technologies. So go check that out. I'm Adam Saxton. This is the Microsoft Power BI update for June 2026. Let's get started. This month brings several features across reporting and modeling. These updates focus on improving visualization control, enabling reusable logic, and simplifying report maintenance. Fabric apps introduce a new way to build custom data applications directly on semantic models using AI. Developers and agent workflows can generate enterprise-ready apps using natural language, reducing the effort needed to build tailored data solutions. Copilot in web modeling provides an AI assistant to analyze and improve semantic models using natural language. It can identify issues, update schemas, and create relationships or measures, reducing manual model work. Agent-powered workflows enable end-to-end report creation through natural language as well, from planning to publishing. This creates a more streamlined path from idea to finished report. All right, let's move on to some reporting updates. And for this one, I need to make sure you're sitting down. I'm sitting down. Are you sitting down? Doth my eyes deceive me? Shape Map is now generally available. This has been previewed for, since the beginning, I guess. It just feels like it's growing up. Let's take a moment to sit on this for a second. Just a second. No longer in preview. And it's coming with support for custom maps and improved formatting options. Definitely let me know what you think about this one. The new date picker simplifies filtering by combining relative and manual date selection into a single experience. Selections automatically update with refresh data, reducing ongoing maintenance. Scatter charts include auto-fit markers to prevent clipping. The bar and column charts have improved access control, and tooltips now support descriptive text without using DAX. Moving on to some modeling updates, DAX user-defined functions are now generally available as well, allowing logic to be defined once and reused across models. This improves consistency and simplifies model maintenance. On to some developer and API updates. PBIR format continues progressing towards becoming the default report format, with rollout resuming in June. This supports improved workflows like source control, CI/CD, and programmatic editing. We've got a new preview feature called Desktop Bridge, which enables external tools and agents to connect directly to Power BI Desktop. That's pretty cool. Power BI reports can now be added to private and shared Teams channels, supporting collaboration directly in conversations. It's a whirlwind of updates. Now let's jump into some demos to see these updates in action. Let's roll.
In this demo, I'll show a few of Copilot and web modeling's capabilities. I'll start from the ribbon, and Copilot will provide prompts for me to get started to improve my semantic model. I'll select Improve Table Relationships, and then click on Allow to provide permission for changes to be made. What's great is that as Copilot is processing, I can also see a set of reasoning steps that it's going through. And it looks like it's done analyzing what the current state is and what table relationships I'm missing. And it looks like I'm missing a total of 5 relationships between the GL fact table and the surrounding dimension tables. And it specifically calls out which columns they should be drawn from. I'll go ahead and say, create exactly those 5 relationships. And in just a little bit, I'll see that those 5 relationships have been created and updated in the model view. It also suggests what I should do next. And I want to go ahead and hide some of the key columns in the dimension tables. I notice it's not hidden for department and division. And so I've told it to hide it, and I can see the eye icon show up, indicating that they're now hidden. I also have an account underscore name column that's a duplicate, and I want to delete it. I'm going to provide confirmation to go ahead and do so, and just like that, you'll notice that in real time it's updated and it's now deleted from my model. Lastly, I want to show you a capability that is coming soon to Copilot in web modeling, which is the ability to suggest and set AI instructions and schema to help prepare your model's AI readiness through prep data for AI. I'll ask Copilot to suggest me what AI instructions I should add, and it provides me a variety grouped into different categories. I'll start by saying that I just want to add a few of these, so I'm going to say add 2 through 6. And in just a little bit, you'll see that it has successfully added those instructions, and I can go to prep data for AI, and I can go ahead and click on add AI instructions to see that those have been successfully added. And I can go ahead and make modifications later as I like.
Using GitHub Copilot CLI, the Power BI Modeling MCP, and the Power BI Report skill, let's create an example end-to-end enterprise reporting solution. Once I connect Copilot to Power BI Desktop, I can simply ask the agent to create a semantic model connected to my SQL DB in Fabric. I can see the agent is working on my request, and I don't even have to lift a finger for this part. I can also see the live updates in Power BI Desktop. Now it has created my model and also shared a summary of exactly what it did. I have this modeling best practice empty file, which I found online, which I will ask agent to use to optimize my model. It optimized the model and provided a summary. For example, it added description to my measures. Now let's create a report based on my specific requirements. I previously asked AI to create 2 empty files based on my goals for each report page. Let me ask the agent to create both report pages matching the functional requirements in my Markdown files. In Power BI Desktop, we now see the report it has created completely from scratch. The report meets my functional requirements, but now I need it to look the part too. To help with this, I have a reference image which I want to use to provide styling guidance to the agent. I also want to add logo to both the pages. The agent updated the pages matching the styling of the reference image and added logo too.
Starting with my semantic model, you can see here it's using a lot of different tables, a lot of different data here. I want to take this data, I want to build an app from it. So to start with is I'll have a spec that actually AI helped me create around my requirements. And even though AI helped me create it, I can always go manually tweak this. So here's an example where I want to add a hover card. So let's say I want an image, an email, I can go add those hover card tooltips there. And the next part, I'm going to go scaffold that project. So I use that npm create command, and I make sure I specify the template of data app. So as you see here, the CLI experience is scaffolding the project for me. And so once I have this available, I'm going to navigate to that file. So if I go here, I navigate to my project file, and then I'm going to go and publish this to my Fabric workspace. So at this point, I've just provisioned the app. I haven't yet created the exact app idea I have. And this is where the fun part happens. So at this point, I'm going to give a coding agent of choice a link to my spec file and a link to my semantic model. Once it has these 2 critical details, I ask it to go build the app and deploy it when it's ready. This takes roughly about 20 minutes or so of your coding agent processing this request. And when it's done, you get a full-blown production-ready application that matches the requirements that you put out in your spec. And so here, for example, I have a 3-page application here that includes things like filtering, tooltips, like I mentioned, that hover card that appears, even having more customization like adding a full-blown dark mode. Now, let's say you want to customize this even further. And that's the beauty with working with AI is you really just need to update that MD spec. So let's see an example of this. So let's say I want to add a little bit more features to this application. Let's say I want a landing page, I want persona-specific selection, and I even want a calendar tab. I can go add all of these requirements to the spec and update it. And then I just hand Copilot that updated spec. And as it's going to go process through that request again, you have your updated application right here. So you see the persona specific selection. So you have different set of pages for each persona. So the executive page is a little bit more focused. And then, of course, you have that calendar view, like I mentioned. So this is really bringing in a lot more actionable elements to this application because I can now track the calendars for the different collaborations I have coming up. And I can even go and add those calendar events to my Outlook calendar itself. So you're really kind of combining the elements of both the analytics with also the elements of the action-oriented apps. This is really showing the value of the new Fabric Apps experience.
Power BI has a new way to slice your date ranges in your Power BI reports. In the slicer, there's now an option for a date picker, which will bring kind of all the options you have for dates into one cohesive experience with the slicer. Now, when I add this, it's going to utilize the date format you have on your date field. So if it's not exactly what you like, you can always go and change that format over in the General tab. Now this one brings in that slicer experience where I can just go choose. But now I also get a single calendar where I can specify the range that I want to see in my report, just like I would kind of with any calendar option you've seen in websites. Now here I have specified that range, but not only that, I can also specify a single date. Not only that, but all the relative options are here as well. So if I want this to automatically roll forward as my data changes, I can set this up to show the last month or show the last 10 months, and I can anchor it off of not only today, but also the last date or first date in that date column. So you have full flexibility here. This slider also has a new option where you can now grab that entire range and move it back or forward. Now, whenever you switch to the slider or to the single calendar, you'll jump out of that relative mode. That relative mode here also includes an offset. So if I wanted to kind of offset, go back to another full month, I can do that here in any kind of increment. Now, this is not only for authoring. So when viewers are looking at their report, they also have all of these options available to them. They can go and specify a different relative range. They can go specify a manual range, single date select, multi-date select. All of it is now available for them to choose depending on how they want to see their data in the visuals. Now, when these visuals are also filtered in the relative, they will continue to be filtered in the relative when they're pinned to a dashboard. Now they can go back and reset the report back to what you had published, which was that rolling range forward with the relative date. Now back into editing, we have a lot of editing options available to you here. So you can go ahead and specify the color and the size of that button that they use to access the calendar or the relative ranges. You can also check the states. So you have the hover and press state available to format. We also have ability to format the two different kind of summaries where the date that's actually selected in the range versus what you had selected. And you can even turn off the summary of what you had selected, which also gives you the ability to turn off a slider and have a really compact date picker slicer experience as well. Power BI Shape Map is now generally available. You can take any map and then compare regions using color. This gives you opportunity to have these comparisons right here in your Power BI report. We have some built-in maps available for you, such as the United States states. And when I add those in, I have to also then specify a measure to do the comparison between regions. When you added that measure, you have some options for coloring. So if you added in the color saturation field well, you can go ahead and adjust that gradient right here, having your minimum, maximum, bringing in that middle color, and you can even specify kind of top and bottom ranges. You can also specify the color for the ones that don't get colored, and also specify the color for kind of the gap between your regions if you wanted to kind of highlight them in a different way. What also have been surfaced better in the UI is when you don't have that color saturation, you can still color the areas that you put in the location. And you can use the full array of the conditional formatting options that we have in Power BI, such as the rules, field value, or even again, the exact gradient you did before when you used the color saturation. The only difference is, of course, if you wanted the value to also show in the tooltip, you'd have to add it to the tooltip well when you don't add it as the color saturation. Now, these maps is one of the built-in maps we have, but you can also specify a URL or you can upload your own. So it's not limited to just countries we have in the real world. You could also add in kind of floor maps and all those kind of things. Not only that, you can also now download anything you've uploaded to make sure if you need to make any changes. We also accept GeoJSON files now. Slices in Power BI could be challenging previously with darker backgrounds, as you could not customize the color of the selection icon, which is the checkbox or radio button. And now, starting this release, you'll be able to specify whatever color you like for those icons. So here I have a dark background, and I'm going to go ahead and make them white, not only for kind of list presentation, but also for the drop-down mode as well. You can specify whatever color you like now for these icons and give your report the exact look and feel that you are going for. DAX Query View now includes options to sort and filter your result set. So here I've run my query, and if I wanted to sort or filter before, I'd have to go revise my query, but now I can simply explore the result set right here in the result grid. I can go and filter out and see what kind of values came in. I can also sort them ascending or descending or largest to smallest and kind of see that right here in the grid to make sure the query is including the results that I expect. We've added in some improvements to many of the axes options in Power BI visuals. For one, we've made it so it's consistent across the board when you're adding data labels, the axes do not adjust. And we're also adding this option to turn off round range. So round range is our default, which gives you kind of those segments up there, and you can turn it off to have kind of a tighter looking visual. Not only that, but this also includes the options for scatter plot to now have the ability to kind of auto fit markers. So as you make them bigger, they get clipped at the edges and in the corners. And now there's a toggle to allow you to always see the full marker, no matter kind of how big they're getting in our scatter plot visuals. Last month, we released the ability in table and matrices to set custom widths in the formatting pane, including a default width. This month, we are expanding on that and now including conditional formatting options. So you can now take this one step further and even allow your report viewers to adjust the column widths across an entire matrix or table. So here I've set up a water parameter with a column width sizing, and I've added it to the conditional formatting. And now as a report viewer, I can come and change this slider and adjust that table matrix to kind of the size that I'm looking for without having to do them individually. The card visual in Power BI has a lot of features available and a lot of ways to incorporate images into your card visual. With this update, we've added in the hover styling. So as you're hovering on these images in your card, you can now specify what happens when your report viewers are kind of mousing over it with their cursor. Here you would select the measure, you would pick the state, and then you have the full styling options available to you to have it styled however makes sense for your report. We brought in the auto expand capability for Explore and for embedded matrix visuals, and now we're bringing them to the report authoring experience for the matrix. So you can go and turn on the auto expand option in the row and column header in the formatting pane, and then it does as you would expect. So as you bring in columns to the rows and the columns filled well, the matrix will automatically expand to show all the values. Now, this is not only for kind of when you're building reports, but also if you have, say, the personalized visual for your report consumers, then now when they go ahead and remove and add things to a matrix, they will automatically expand as they're making those selections. We have some new options now available for tooltips in visual. So here I have my visual. It has sales and it has some sales year-over-year information as additional field for my tooltips. But now when I'm formatting that tooltip over in general, I have additional options available to me. So if I only want those tooltip fields to show, I can. So no longer specifying everything in my visual, I can specify just the fields I like. And I also now have this sentence format mode where I can now craft a full sentence to explain what all of these values are and how they relate to each other in my visual. I can also specify I only want the sentence mode, and I can say if I want the values bolded or not. This gives a really good in-between option to all the default values being in the tooltip or crafting a full report page tooltip. Now I have this kind of middle option to give me what I need. Azure Map includes many selection controls that you can use to select points on the map. But unfortunately, until now, it has been default turned off, so it may not have been visible in many of your reports. So now we're going to make these options default on for all Azure Map visuals. So let's go look at what it would look for a reader. When you're looking at this Azure Map, now you have the ability to kind of choose how you want to select points. You can select them individually, or you can use, say, a circle to see kind of the radius, or a square to kind of select different areas on the map and select all those points. You also have the option to kind of specify the selection by time or by distance by a certain amount of units.
Amazing demos. I have to say, I'm very excited for Fabric apps. There's going to be a lot of cool things you can do with that and just get up and running and not have to worry about infrastructure. It's going to be amazing. All right, let's talk about the community for a second. Each month, we highlight a community member that's making a positive impact in the Power BI community. Meet Cengizhan Arslan. Cengizhan joined the Power BI community in 2025. He's already received more than 730 kudos, authored over 360 solutions, and has replied more than 1,000 times. It's crazy. He's been busy. When he's not writing DAX, he's probably losing an ongoing negotiation with his dog about taking a walk. We know the dog wins. In addition to this, Cengizhan is a super user. Thank you for being a valued member of our community. We're grateful for your contributions and keep it up. All right, if you have any questions or comments about any of these features, particularly Shape Map going GA, leave them in the comments below. I want to hear them. For the full list of updates, check out the monthly update blog and scan that QR code for all of the great information. To stay current with Microsoft Fabric and Power BI, be sure to follow the latest updates and leverage the community as well. Head over to the community site for more info. Thanks for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.